Welcome to the My Home Loan Underwriting Training, brought to you by the Michigan State Housing Development Authority. Benefits of a My Home Loan include competitive interest rates, down payment assistance, multiple products available, helps low to moderate income customers to become homeowners, and it may help the lender's CRA rating. Please note, MSHDA is the investor on this loan. The lender's underwriter must approve the loan first. The loan and applicant must meet loan type guidelines and MSHDA compliance, and MSHDA requires all adults intending to occupy the residence must provide income documentation. The lender must have access to Lender Online. To receive access, send an email to the address listed. Once you receive access, you will be able to reserve funds, access forms, and other informational materials. The lender is required to review all training materials. This includes this podcast, the My Home Loan Operating Manual, and the product specs for each loan type and down payment assistance. If you have questions regarding our program, please call our main line listed here. To receive the MSHDA Lender Letter that will include program information, reminders, and updates, send an email to the address listed. Current interest rates are posted on Lender Online at the address listed. For your closing department, there is a closing and purchasing training for the My Home Loans available on Lender Online on the bulletin board. Once you receive access to Lender Online, go to the login page and enter your username and password. To find the bulletin board, look to the upper right in the white area. On the bulletin board, you can find the current interest rates, lender letters and announcements, MSHDA's mailing address, and file review dates. Under Miscellaneous, you will find our email address, reservation form, housing education locator, current income and sales price chart, a staff directory, the My Home Loan Operating Manual, and MSHDA's EIN number. When you are on the site, you can scroll down the page, and at the bottom are the training presentations for the products that we offer. To reserve funds, click on the New Reservation tab, then on My Home Loan. Next, you will decide whether you need a loan without down payment assistance or a loan with down payment assistance. To reserve the funds, complete all items with a red asterisk. Then click Submit. A page will appear confirming your reservation. Print this page for your records. Reservations are valid for 90 days. This is your interest rate lock with MSHDA. Reservations must be made on Lender Online. See Section 5 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual for reservation restrictions. To find MSHDA forms, click on Program Documents in the upper white area. Click on My Home Loan, Origination, Information, and Forms. Under Program Documents, we list the required My Home Loan documents to be submitted. We will go over these documents in detail later in the presentation. However, most importantly, the loan submission checklist will guide you in what is required to be submitted in a My Home Loan package and give you the exact stacking order for your submission. This page will also give you access to the product specs for each loan type that the lender should review prior to submitting a loan. In the second column, MSHDA has supplied DPA worksheets for your use in calculating the down payment assistance allowed on your loan. Next, each lender should review the operating manual before submitting their first loan and for future reference. The next three items you should print and use as tools for when you have a prospective MSHDA client. Print the targeted areas list and the income and sales price chart. You will need the targeted areas list to determine if the home is in a targeted or non-targeted area. This will then guide you to the correct area of the income and sales price chart to determine your buyer's income limit. The closing cost guide lists what fees are allowed and not allowed to be charged on a MSHDA loan. Next, print the reservation form to be used when the Lender Online system is down or if your applicant has had a prior MSHDA reservation. This is the process flow for the My Home Loan. First, you must have a signed purchase agreement. Next, you make a reservation on Lender Online and lock the interest rate with MSHDA. The loan must be underwritten and approved by your underwriter. You will then scan the loan in the exact order of the loan submission checklist and upload it to Lender Online. MSHDA will then review the loan and, when approved, issues the commitment. The lender then closes and funds the loan along with the down payment assistance loan if applicable. The lender will then upload the closing purchasing package to Lender Online. Once reviewed and approved, MSHDA will purchase the loan. Before you start, verify all adults intending to occupy must provide income documentation. See Section 8.3 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual. Verify the home is in a targeted or non-targeted area. Verify the household income meets the income limit. Verify the property qualifies according to the sales price limit. Verify the property meets MSHDA compliance. See Section 12 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual. Verify the applicant's DTI does not exceed 45%, and verify the applicant meets mid-score minimum requirement of 640 or 660 for a manufactured home. MSHDA allows for a non-applicant household member. The affidavit of non-applicant household member DOH 148 must be completed and signed by any adult household member who will reside in the home but will not sign the note. Non-applicants must submit income documentation verifying income listed on the DOH 148. Non-applicants are not required to be first-time homebuyers. Non-applicant spouse will be required to be on the deed and execute the first mortgage and the down payment assistance mortgage if applicable. Non-applicant disabled adult, if unable to complete and sign the affidavit of non-applicant household member DOH 148, the applicant will complete and sign the form on their behalf if they can provide either an order appointing conservatorship or an order appointing guardianship with property and estate rights. All adults in the household must include income documentation. All adults in the household or who intend to occupy the house must include income documentation. Adult children who are full-time students can be exempt if they supply transcripts verifying 12 credits or a letter from school verifying full-time status. Separated spouses can be exempt if they have a judgment for separate maintenance approved by MSHDA or a final divorce decree. Disabled adults that cannot legally be included can be exempt if the applicant can verify order appointing conservatorship or an order appointing guardian with property and estate rights. You must verify the property is in a targeted or non-targeted area. This is determined by the legal description for the property. MSHDA has a targeted areas list. If the property is found to be in one of these areas, there is no prior homeownership restriction. This is the targeted areas list. The counties listed at the top of this list are entirely targeted. There is no prior homeownership restriction in these counties. For the counties listed below, only the specific areas listed to the right of those counties are targeted. If the home is located in one of these specific areas on this list, the home is in a targeted area and there is no prior homeownership restriction. If the property is not located in one of these specific areas on this list, then the property is located in a non-targeted area and the applicants cannot have had an ownership interest in a principal residence in the last 3 years. If the property is located in a non-targeted area, there is a 3-year prior homeownership restriction. MSHDA will require at least a 3-year history on the credit report with no mortgages showing in the entire history, or MSHDA will require 3-year signed federal tax returns or transcripts showing no mortgage interest deduction taken. If the applicant did not file a tax return, they will be required to complete an SFH 108 income tax affidavit for the year or years they did not file. The applicants must qualify within the income and sales price requirements for the area the house is located in. There are 2 types of income. Gross household income, which must be calculated to verify the household qualifies for the My Home Loan program, and the applicant's qualifying income that will be determined by your lender's underwriter. To calculate gross household income, the lender will calculate all income coming into the household, including non-applicants, and project forward for the next 12 months. The only exception to this rule is if the adult child in the household is a full-time student. See Section 8 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual for income calculation. As the lender, your underwriter will determine qualifying income as shown on the signed transmittal by following loan type guidelines. To find the correct income limit for the area the property is located in, you must first know if the house is located in a targeted or non-targeted area by using the targeted areas list we talked about previously. The top chart lists the targeted areas limits. First, find the county the property is located in. Then look for the county or township listed to the right. If your property is located in one of these specific cities or townships, the limits to the right under 1 to 2 member or 3 or more member households applies. If you know your house is in a targeted area but you do not see the county or specific area listed, the property falls under all other targeted areas listed at the bottom of the top chart. If you know your property is in a non-targeted area, use the bottom chart to find the income limit. Again, if the county is not listed, the limit falls under all other non-targeted areas not listed above at the bottom of the chart. The sales price limit statewide is listed at the very right of the chart. Eligible property types. MSHDA allows new, never occupied homes. If you have a new construction, it must be the type that has a construction loan and then an end loan. The MSHDA loan will be the end loan. The home must be completed prior to loan purchase. A copy of the current builder's license must be maintained in your file. MSHDA will require the signed Equal Opportunity Builder Certificate to be submitted with the MSHDA loan. MSHDA also allows existing homes, new or existing multi-section manufactured homes built after 6/14/76, taxed as real estate and permanently affixed to the land, and condominiums. For FHA, the lender is required to verify the condo is insurable on both new and existing. For conventional, the lender is required to verify the project is eligible per FNMA or FHLMC guidelines. The lender's underwriter is to comment and provide all supporting documentation in the file. Property requirements. MSHDA requires a full appraisal with all utilities on and verified working properly. MSHDA does not allow generator tests or pressure testing. If the property is on a private road or has a joint driveway, the lender must submit verification of a recorded permanent easement. The appraiser should state that any personal property has no value. Any repairs agreed upon in the purchase agreement or required by the appraiser can never be financed. Repairs should be completed prior to MSHDA issuing a commitment on the loan. MSHDA may allow a separate weather-related repair escrow on a case-by-case basis. See the My Home Loan Operating Manual, available on Lender Online, for more information. MSHDA only allows up to 2 acres or 1 buildable lot to be financed. Exceptions to acreage may be granted on a case-by-case basis up to 5 acres. The property must meet all the requirements on the acreage waiver. See Section 12.6 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual for more information. Maximum lot size. The rule behind the strict acreage and lot requirements is as stated. The proceeds of a MSHDA loan cannot be used to purchase land large enough to legally construct more than one house, or land that consists of 2 or more separate buildable lots. For example, if you have a property with a legal description that includes 3 lots, if the house sits on 2 and the garage sits on the other, this is fine. But if the house sits on 1 and the garage sits on 1 and there is 1 full empty lot, we will need verification this lot cannot be split off from this property and another house built. Additional documentation, such as a survey and a letter from a local municipality, may be required to determine compliance. See Section 12 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual for all property requirements. Underwriting guidelines. MSHDA will not automatically approve loans based on automated systems findings or the lender's underwriter approval. A refer finding requires a manual underwrite with compensating factors. Refer with caution is not allowed. At no time can the DTI ratio exceed 45%. The programs offered with MSHDA loans are as follows. FHA with the transmittal HUD 92900LT signed by the DE underwriter. FHA guidelines are to be followed. The MI is required to be financed in the first mortgage. DPA of $10,000 is available. This covers down payment, closing costs, prepaids, and any remaining funds can be applied towards the down payment. See the FHA product specifications on Lender Online. For rural development, RD underwriting guidelines must be followed. The RD conditional commitment is required with submission, along with the 1008 signed by the lender's underwriter. Down payment assistance of $10,000 is available. The DPA covers down payment, closing costs, prepaids, guarantee fee, and any remaining funds can be applied towards the down payment. See RD product specifications on Lender Online. VA loans require maximum financing. The loan analysis must be signed by the underwriter. VA underwriting guidelines are to be followed. DPA is not allowed on this product. See VA product specifications on Lender Online. Conventional loans. The 1008 transmittal must be signed by the underwriter. The MI must come from MGIC or from ARCH using Fannie Mae Desktop Underwriting, HFA Preferred Product, or Loan Prospector using HFA Advantage. Conventional underwriting guidelines must be followed. The $10,000 DPA is available. This covers down payment, closing costs, prepaids, and any remaining funds can be applied towards down payment. See conventional product specifications on Lender Online. My 10K DPA Down Payment Assistance. This is a 0% interest, non-amortizing soft second mortgage. This loan is due on sale, transfer, refinance, or repayment of the MSHDA first mortgage. This lien is not forgiven. We offer $10,000 down payment assistance. This can be used for down payment, closing costs, prepaids, and any remaining funds to be applied towards down payment. A principal reduction at closing is not allowed. A 1% cash investment is required from the borrower, allowed from an approved gift. Gifts of equity, grants, or other DPA programs cannot be used to cover the 1% requirement. A DPA worksheet is available for your use on Lender Online under Program Documents. Homebuyer Education Certificate of Completion is required. Homebuyer education is available at the following: MSHDA or other HUD-approved counseling agencies, Framework, HomeView, CreditSmart, eHome America approved online courses. DPA funds cannot be used to pay the difference on an appraisal guarantee offer. See My 10K DPA product specifications on Lender Online. A DPA worksheet is available to you on Lender Online as a tool to assist you in the calculation of DPA allowed on your loan. This form can be found on Lender Online under Program Documents. Homebuyer Education Certificate of Completion is required on all MSHDA DPA assisted loans. All applicants must submit a Certificate of Completion. Certificates are good for 1 year. Homebuyer education is available at the following: MSHDA or other HUD-approved counseling agencies, Framework, HomeView, CreditSmart, eHome America approved online courses. Credit requirements. The credit score requirements affect all applicants. MSHDA requires a 640 mid-score or 660 if purchasing a manufactured home. If there are no scores due to lack of credit only, the lender is required to follow loan type guidelines. These will be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. Lenders are to follow loan type guidelines for payment requirements of student loans, collections, judgments, etc., and submit supporting documentation with the file. A satisfactory letter of explanation is required for derogatory credit. If an applicant is required to pay child support, the lender must get verification the last 12 months have been paid on time. See Homeownership Operating Manual for specific requirements. If an applicant has had a prior bankruptcy or foreclosure, the lender will follow loan type guidelines for qualification. If an applicant has ever had a prior MSHDA foreclosure, the applicant will not qualify for another MSHDA loan. To verify assets, documentation must be in accordance with loan type guidelines and AUS findings. MSHDA allows bank statements and will also allow a VOD or automated asset verification as approved by loan type guidelines. Please note that MSHDA reserves the right to ask for full bank statements to evaluate the financial stability of a borrower and determine the loan risk in some cases. If a gift is received, MSHDA requires all documentation to be submitted that is required by loan type. Land ownership must be verified if applicable. All earnest money deposits must be verified and sourced. Any subordinate liens other than MSHDA DPA require prior approval from MSHDA. See Section 17.3 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual for more information. Miscellaneous requirements. All MSHDA loans are required to be uploaded to Lender Online eDocs in the exact order shown on the loan submission checklist. MSHDA reserves the right to require the lender to rescan and re-upload files not in order. Co-signers and non-occupying co-borrowers are not allowed. If you have an applicant who is separated from their spouse, they are required to submit a judgment for separate maintenance approved by MSHDA to qualify. Repairs can never be financed. A weather-related repair escrow may be allowed on a case-by-case basis. See Section 13.10 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual for more information. Escrow accounts are always required on MSHDA mortgages. There is a closing cost chart available on Lender Online to inform you of fee limits and allowable fees that can be charged on a MSHDA loan. These can be found under Program Documents, Closing Information, and Forms. Recapture tax. The applicant may be liable for recapture tax if they sell their home within the first 9 years of ownership. To notify the applicant of possible recapture tax, you can print from Lender Online or order the recapture tax reimbursement brochure from MSHDA. Most people will never pay recapture tax, and I will demonstrate why in the following slides. For example, the average household income on a MSHDA loan is around $60,000. The recapture income limit chart will provide you the information you need by the county in which the house is located and whether it is in a targeted or non-targeted area. For example, we have a single borrower that purchased a home in Bay County, targeted area. The number under 1 to 2 member household is 108,360. We will go past page 2 of the chart to page 3. Look under first year and find the number 108,360. This number and all the numbers to the right of it are the federal income limits that apply to the applicant if they sell their home within the first 9 years of ownership. For example, let's say the applicant sells their home in year 5. If the applicant's adjusted gross income does not exceed $131,712, the applicant will not pay recapture tax. Considering our average household income on a MSHDA loan is around $60,000, it is unlikely most will ever pay. The only time we see payment of recapture tax is if the applicant got married and more than doubled their income. They together may exceed $131,712. If the applicant must pay recapture tax, the tax is limited to 6.25% of the initial loan amount or 50% of the net gain on the sale, whichever is less. The recapture numbers used in this example may not be current. The most current recapture tax charts are available on Lender Online under Program Documents. If the applicant must pay recapture tax, MSHDA has a recapture tax reimbursement program. The applicant would send MSHDA verification their 1040 form taxes were filed and the recapture tax was paid and the completed IRS Form 8828. MSHDA would then reimburse the tax paid. Once the file is approved by MSHDA, a commitment will be issued and uploaded to Lender Online. An email will be sent to the contact person listed on the mortgage loan data summary. The commitment is good for 90 days for an existing home and 180 days for new construction. Any changes that occur after the commitment is issued that affect property, sales price, loan amount, ratios, etc. must be approved by MSHDA prior to close. Remember, do not close without a commitment. Your commitment will look similar to this, with the lender, applicant, property, and loan information filled in. There will be boxes checked as guidance to what was included in this approval and guidance for your closing department. For DPA loans, the box will be checked and the DPA amount entered in the required area. Please proof your commitment before you close the loan. Any changes after commitment has been issued must be submitted to and approved by MSHDA prior to close. The 2-page loan submission checklist is available on Lender Online for your use. Please scan and upload your file in the exact order listed on this checklist. This checklist is not required to be submitted with the loan. The mortgage loan data summary sheet must be fully completed and be the first document scanned and viewed on every file. This form is available on Lender Online under Program Documents. The insurance or guarantee certificate is required. For FHA, that is the HUD 92900-LT, signed by the DE underwriter. For VA, the loan analysis worksheet, signed by your underwriter. For RD, the RD conditional commitment. And for conventional loans, the MI cert from either MGIC or ARCH when required. The 1008 transmittal summary, signed by your underwriter, is required to be submitted with conventional loans and RD loans. Include in the loan submissions the agency automated systems findings, if used to approve the loan. The findings must match the transmittal signed by your underwriter. If there were any potential red flags present in the findings, these must be addressed by your underwriter in the comment section of the signed transmittal. Ratios can never exceed 45%. Any refer received requires a manual underwrite with compensating factors stated in the comment section of the signed transmittal. A refer with caution is not allowed. Handwritten comments on the transmittal are not acceptable. The original signed 1003 is required to be submitted for all loan types and all applicants on the loan. For FHA, also include the 4-page HUD addendum. For VA, include the 2-page addendum, fully completed and signed. If the applicant needs DPA, also submit the most recent 1003 with the most current details of transaction. The Affidavit of Non-Applicant Household Member Form is a 2-page document that each non-applicant household member must complete, sign, and date. Income verification must be received for each non-applicant. Page 2 is signed and dated by the non-applicant. The Homebuyer Education Certificate is required on all DPA-assisted loans. All applicants must submit a certificate of completion. The applicant must take the class through either a MSHDA or HUD-approved counseling agency, attend Framework, HomeView, CreditSmart, or eHome America approved online courses. Certificate of completion is good for 1 year. Other applicant information required. For FHA loans, FHA case number printout from FHA Connection, CAVERS number authorization, and the LDP SAM results. Customer identification can be satisfied by either submitting a customer identification form signed by the lender or a copy of the borrower's driver's license. The Social Security numbers for all applicants can be verified on a Patriot Act form, a copy of a W-2, a tax transcript from the IRS, or a copy of the actual Social Security card. A 3-file merged credit report is required for all applicants. See Section 10 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual for more information. For verification of household income, MSHDA can accept a fully completed VOE or alternative documentation that would include a verbal VOE, a pay stub less than 30 days old and showing at least 30 days year-to-date income, and 2 years W-2s. If an applicant is self-employed, follow loan type guidelines for required documentation. If an applicant receives or pays child support or alimony, see Section 8.8 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual for documentation requirements. For military pay, you would follow loan type guidelines for documentation requirements. See Section 8 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual, Household Income Calculation. This will cover specifics for income types, other income, temporary income, reductions in income, and exclusions from income. For verification of assets, see the loan submission checklist for types of verifications allowed. Documentation must be in accordance with loan type guidelines and AUS findings and must verify sufficient funds to close and required reserves. If you are submitting bank statements, MSHDA requires full statements. VODs are allowed. Gift documentation must follow loan type guidelines. Verify land ownership if applicable, and earnest money deposits must be sourced and verified in the file. See Section 9 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual for more information on assets. Any subordinate liens other than a MSHDA DPA require prior approval from MSHDA. See Section 17.3 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual. A purchase agreement or a contract to build is required with every submission and must be signed by all applicants. Seller disclosures and a lead-based paint disclosure if applicable, and all addendums must be included. MSHDA requires a full appraisal. All utilities, which include heat, water, and electrical, must be verified on and working properly. MSHDA does not allow generator or pressure testing. The signed conditional commitment of appraised value must be submitted with all FHA appraisals. If you have a property that is over 2 acres but less than 5 acres, MSHDA requires a completed DOH 003 acreage waiver. This is the acreage waiver. This document must be completed by the lender and submitted to MSHDA if the property has a meets and bounds legal description and exceeds 2 acres but does not exceed 5 acres. All items on the acreage waiver must be addressed on the appraisal or by the local municipality. The property must meet all requirements listed on the acreage waiver to be approved. Any property over 5.00 acres will not qualify for MSHDA financing. The current form is available on Lender Online under Program Documents. To continue with property requirements, MSHDA also requires a flood certification and title commitment on every submission. The Initial Application Affidavit, SFH 106, is a 3-page MSHDA form that must be signed and notarized and uploaded with the original submission package. The current 3-page form is available on Lender Online under Program Documents. This 3-page document includes information on applicant eligibility, property eligibility, use of loan proceeds and cost of residence, a notice to buyers concerning the possibility of recapture tax, miscellaneous information, and false statement and criminal penalties information. All applicants must read this document in full, understand its contents, and sign and date the form. This form must also be notarized. Verification of prior residency is required for non-targeted areas only. This can be verified by a credit report that covers at least a 3-year history, showing no mortgages in the entire history, or the most recent 3 years of signed federal tax returns or transcripts. If the applicant did not file in one or more of the required years, they will be required to complete the SFH 108 income tax affidavit, stating the year and reason for not filing. The lender must document any prior ownership in the last 3 years that is not showing on the credit report. MSHDA reserves the right to require tax returns for other verifications if needed. This is the Income Tax Affidavit SFH 108. This is only submitted when tax returns are required and the applicant did not file for one or more of the required years. The applicant must state the year and the reason they did not file, and the form must be signed and notarized. The current form is available on Lender Online under Program Documents. Other requirements to be submitted in the loan include a signed borrower certification and authorization form, and if you have a new construction, a completed SFH 110 Equal Opportunity Builder's Certificate. The current builder's license is required to be retained in the lender's file. This is the Equal Opportunity Builder Certificate SFH 110. This form is required for new construction only and must be signed by the builder. The current form is available on Lender Online under Program Documents. If there is a subordinate lien other than the MSHDA DPA, you are required to submit a copy of the proposed mortgage, note, and other pertinent documentation. See Section 17.3 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual for more information on subordinate liens. Additional documentation may be required to explain any unusual circumstances of the loan. Uploading the loan to MSHDA. All loans must be uploaded to Lender Online. The documents must be scanned and uploaded in the exact order of the loan submission checklist. The mortgage loan data summary must be the first document viewed in your package and it must be fully completed. When you scan the MSHDA loan package, you must scan the entire origination underwriting package into one file. The appraisal can be scanned in a second file. If there are more than 2 files, the files must be specifically named as to what they are. MSHDA reserves the right to require the lender to rescan and re-upload files not in compliance. After uploading, don't forget to hit Submit. For more information on uploading, there is a training available on Lender Online under the Bulletin Board tab. Please note, MSHDA reserves the right to require any documentation that may be used to verify submitted loans are in compliance with MSHDA guidelines, loan type guidelines, and state and federal regulations. Remember, before you start, verify that all adults intending to occupy must submit income documentation. Verify the home is in a targeted or non-targeted area. Verify if the household meets the income limits. Verify if the property qualifies according to the sales price limit. Verify if the property meets MSHDA compliance. See Section 12 of the My Home Loan Operating Manual for more information. Verify the applicant's DTI does not exceed 45%. Verify all applicants meet the mid-score requirements of 640 or 660 for a manufactured home. Again, please note, MSHDA is the investor on this loan. The lender's underwriter must approve the loan prior to submission to MSHDA. The loan must meet loan type guidelines and MSHDA compliance. The lender must have access to Lender Online. To receive access, please send an email to the address listed. Access to Lender Online will allow you to reserve funds, access forms and materials, and upload files. The lender is required to review all training materials. That would include this training, the My Home Loan Operating Manual, and the product specifications. Thank you for your participation in this training. For questions regarding our programs, please call the homeownership main line listed or send an email to the address listed. If you'd like to receive the MSHDA lender letter, send an email to the address listed. Interest rates are posted on Lender Online. For the closing and purchasing of the My Home Loan, there is a closing purchasing training available on Lender Online Bulletin Board tab. Again, thank you for your participation.